Hello and welcome to the Trauma Treatment Collective vlog. Today we're going to be talking about how to choose the right trainings and credentials. But before we get started, I wanted to let you know that this particular vlog is being sponsored by Becoming a Trauma Therapist online course. And this course is solely dedicated to helping you develop your trauma treatment skills and choosing which credentials and how to create a community and all the things that it takes to become the best trauma therapist you can. If you are like me, I remember what it was like when I was coming into the field. I so happened to, run into the right people, connect with the right people, and have the right opportunities to continue to grow my skills. But it's been a trial and error. It's been me kind of saying, well, maybe this and maybe that, and then running into someone who introduced me to this and never having heard about that until someone shared it with me. And so I didn't really get the opportunity to compare and contrast different trainings and credentials and things like that. And so Becoming a Trauma Therapist is a course designed to help you to do just that. And so if you are in the beginning of your trauma treatment journey, or if you are a therapist who is well seasoned, but deciding that I want to make this my niche and I want to really get focused in on trauma treatment, then this is going to be a really great course for you to consider. So keep it in mind. So now let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about choosing the right credentials and trainings. Like I said, when I was talking about the course, back 15 years ago, I really was, just kind of wandering around. That's kind of how I see myself, wandering through different trainings and different courses and reading different books and going to different lectures and hearing different people talk about different things and talking to my mentors, talking to my supervisors, just trying to figure out, and then also working in the therapy room. For me, I am a therapist, and so I was working with clients and running into stuff and didn't know what to do, and I was asking lots of questions and really just trying to figure out how to be the best trauma therapist I could possibly be. But that was a lot of meandering and a lot of going in the wrong direction for a while, and then turning around and having to go back in the opposite direction, and maybe spending money on courses and trainings and credentials that I really, in the end, if I would have taken some time and really understood what I was wanting and where I was trying to go, I probably may not have pursued those trainings. So I learned a lot, and I wanted to share today with you about the importance of just these two tips that I'm going to talk about that are really going to help you to kind of narrow in, so you don't have to do as much meandering as I've done over the last 15 years. And hopefully they will help you to really kind of narrow in and focus in. And I will say that in Becoming a Trauma Therapist online course, we go deeper into these two things, but I'm just going to mention them here as some things for you to consider and think about. And then if you think they're really helpful and you want to learn more, you can join me for that course in March, and definitely check them out even in more in depth. So the first one is knowing your ideal client. And so you may have heard ideal client when talking about marketing or talking about writing, if you've created a website for something, a product, or for a client to attract your clients and those kinds of things, then you may have heard about your ICA, or your ideal client avatar. And I encourage actual therapists, especially in trauma treatment, to have an ideal client, because there's so many avenues, so many directions you can go in trauma treatment. And we talked about this last week when I talked about mindset, in really being able to think about what trainings you wanted. I started to mention this idea of being clear about who your ideal client is and really understanding the population you want to work in. In the course, we go through all the different populations. I won't do that here today, but I want to say really understanding what population you want to work with, understanding how you want to work with that population, is really important. And this is going to help you to be able to identify what trainings you need. So for me, for example, my ideal client is usually a female between the ages of 30 and 40, who's experienced some type of childhood trauma. And so they are childhood trauma survivors. And so I really enjoy working with that population. A lot of times when I'm thinking about what trainings and credentials I want to pursue, I'm thinking about what are they bringing into my therapy room that I don't have the skill set for? What do I need to become better at? What things are tripping me up with them? And how I can better assist them with, being able to achieve the goals that they have for themselves when they're coming to trauma treatment. And so that's something that I really work hard on, is being able to really think about, okay, what do they need, and how can I help them be as successful as possible in our treatment journey. Again, that directs me to what trainings and credentials I may need to pursue to become better. So if I am thinking about something, a certain training and credential, I'm thinking, okay, does my ICA come in with this? Is this going to be a good return on my investment? Am I going to be able to use these skills? Is this something that I see that they struggle with on a consistent basis, that I'm going to be able to help them with? So that's first tip, is knowing your ICA or your ideal client avatar and really understanding how to best meet their needs, or maybe where you need to grow your skill sets to better meet their needs. The second tip that I'll talk about is your theoretical orientation. And I'm sorry for the shaking of the dog collar. My dog is here again today, doing this particular videotaping with me. So yeah, you may hear him in the background sneezing or coughing or barking or shaking himself. This has been the most active he's ever been. Usually he's in my office and he's just hanging out on the futon, just chilling. Today he is very active. So back to your theoretical orientation. So this is another way that I help people to really and I encourage them to think about, is to really think about, what is my theoretical orientation and what trainings and credentials would fit with that. It's nothing worse than having a theoretical orientation or way that you like to work. And if you don't know your theoretical orientation, it may be something you might want to do some research on. In the course, I help people kind of identify that. But it's just the way you like to work, kind of the theories and the philosophies and the kind of the makeup of the foundation of how you think things through, how you conceptualize cases, how you see cases, those kinds of things. If you are a therapist, more than likely in your graduate program, you had to write a paper on your theoretical orientation. If you're not a therapist, this may be new information to you or new ways of thinking about it. So it might be really worth your time to just kind of do some investigating about theoretical orientation and what's your theoretical orientation and how that kind of shows up with the work that you do. But I think it's really important to kind of consider your theoretical orientation, because it's nothing worse than going and getting a training that doesn't fit your theoretical orientation. So now you're trying to smash these two things together, your theoretical orientation and this new training, and you're trying to incorporate it into the way that you work, but it is just not fitting. For example, if you are a psychodynamic kind of person, a person who likes to look at patterns and childhood experiences and those kinds of things, which I am, then more than likely it's going to be really hard for you sorry guys, I don't know what's going on over there on my desk. It's going to be really hard for you to be able to incorporate your theoretical orientation, my psychodynamic theoretical orientation, with maybe cognitive behavioral. Cognitive behavioral, you can fit them together, but they're sometimes really hard. And I've tried, actually. I actually went and did the trauma-focused cognitive behavioral training and just really struggled to get through it. I actually ended up, I'll be honest, and I dropped out because I realized that this does not really fit with how I like to think about things, and how I like to work. And so that would have saved me some time if I would have considered that prior to going. Then I would have said, hey, I'm going to pass on this training. It does not fit with the way that I particularly like to work. And, it may work for other people, but it's not me. So theoretical orientation is the second tip. So the first one, again, is your ideal client. The second one is theoretical orientation, and really being able to understand how that fits with the different trainings and credentials. So those are two things that you can think about as you are thinking about choosing the right trainings and the right credentials for you, and how they are going to best help you be as successful as you want to be. Again, this month we are talking all about how to become the best trauma therapist possible, or the best trauma treatment professional. Sorry for those who are not therapists. How to become the best trauma treatment professional possible, and things that you might want to consider. So yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been helpful. I'm sorry for all the distractions, but I'm not going to edit it out, because this is real life and this is a vlog, and it's not a taping or a recording of anything. It's a vlog and it's real life and things happen. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave it in. Have a great rest of your day. Take care, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.